On June 25th, 2021 year, US intelligence lifted the veil of secrecy, which stirred the minds of not only UFO fans. The US government said it had no explanation for dozens of unidentified flying objects seen by military pilots. In a report released by the Department of Defense, it said 144 reports of unidentified flying object phenomena have been detected since 2004, and all but one of them remain unexplained. This is hardly the first time authorities have officially acknowledged that unidentified aerial phenomena exist. US intelligence fears that foreign rivals could gather information in this way and sees it as a potential threat to national security. However, it also does not rule out the possibility that the objects are extraterrestrial. So why has the truth been hidden from us for over 70 years? What are these objects? Are they enemies or friends? What does NASA really know about UFOs?
First in outer space.
If earlier the authorities turned all talk about the reality of UFOs into a joke, today they tend to see unidentified flying objects as a potential threat to national security. So what has changed? And why did the military start taking UFOs seriously? For many years in the world, there have been strange and sometimes terrible cases that cannot be explained. January 7th, 1948th year, Captain Thomas Mantell was ordered to pursue UFOs in Kentucky. When he reached 6,700 meters, his plane and the UFO disappeared from radar screens. Although on the radio still heard his report on the approach to a certain object, "This thing looks metallic and huge in size." Those were his last words. At 5 o'clock that evening, Mantell's body was found amidst the wreckage of his fighter plane. What happened? Had Mantell's plane been destroyed by a UFO? It is known that the military took away, sealed every screw of his plane. However, the project manager then stated that Mantell saw only the planet Venus. Moving on. In the early 50s, American astronaut Gordon Cooper made a sensational statement that he saw a UFO. He and his partner chased on a fighter plane in the sky over Germany strange light disks. He also repeatedly saw strange objects in the sky above a US military base that waltzed in the sky. Gordon Cooper accused the US government in the long-standing policy of lying and concealment, in the deliberate concealment from the public, many facts concerning the phenomenon of UFOs. According to the astronaut, the governments of all countries are involved in a conspiracy of silence regarding the presence of aliens on our planet. He believed that at the official level, any information about it is ridiculed and discredited. By law, NASA press offices are supposed to report on any space phenomena, but for some reason, some of them have been carefully concealed for years. NASA seems to fear the word UFO more than anything else and calls it atmospheric phenomena. Perhaps they know more than we do. Wouldn't you agree that if UFOs were harmless, the speculations of people who have seen something wouldn't be kept in secret files? Perhaps the authorities are afraid to admit that there are things they cannot protect us from. For example, in 1952, a whole squadron of UFOs flew over the capital. They were seen by pilots, radar, and just passers-by. The objects made unthinkable accelerations and U-turns, things that no airplane at the time would have been able to do. Exactly 1 week later, the UFOs reappeared over the White House. When the fighter planes got there, they were still hanging around. But then, they disappeared. The Pentagon attributed the event to an air current inversion and admitted that they record hundreds of similar cases in other places, but the alerted fighter jets turn out to be useless. It seems that someone wants us not to ask too many questions, to believe the stories of Venus, meteorites, mirages, and airflow inversions. But why? Perhaps under the mask of UFOs hides a secret technology, which is still consciously kept secret. There could be many guesses. It is quite possible to assume that the US Air Force is conducting some kind of development, and it is profitable for them that people take them for UFOs. And what if it is a secret weapon of Russia or China? Once there was a similar story. In 1961st year, US relations with the USSR were extremely tense. The countries were on the verge of conflict, and one of the reasons was strange silver discs from time to time flying over the territory of the USSR from the Warsaw Pact Zone. They flew at high speed at unreachable heights. For a while in the USSR, they were mistaken for NATO intrigues, and NATO as Soviet spies. But it soon became obvious that neither side had the secrets of such technology. Ufologists are sure that these flying objects are extraterrestrial because such acceleration is not tolerated by any Earthling. In the 70s, the development of the SOI program, popularly dubbed Star Wars, began. It was created ostensibly to defend against Soviet nuclear missiles. Perhaps it was just a cover for a secret war in Earth orbit, a screen to create a super-advanced weapon that could protect mankind from UFOs. Isn't this where NASA's secrets unravel? Maybe Star Wars has already started and we know nothing about it. Maybe NASA is trying to prevent a general panic. Whatever the case may be, in recent years the US authorities have changed from anger to mercy and stopped ridiculing people who allegedly saw UFOs. The Pentagon even confirmed the authenticity of several videos. True, about the alien nature of these objects, there are not in a hurry to declare. Why such a sudden change? Perhaps the reason is that people are tired of living in the unknown and began to demand answers. What is worth only the storming of Area 51, a secret military base which is supposedly held secret research of intelligent beings who came to Earth from outer space? In June 2019, California student Matt Roberts created an event on Facebook for fun, suggesting that everyone should storm Area 51 together, since no security system could stop a large crowd of people. In his rather playful post, he also wrote that, having broken into the territory of the base, there they would be able to discover samples of alien technology, and maybe even the aliens themselves. A few days later, his joke went viral around the world, attracting more and more participants. Even actors Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny, the performers of the main roles in The X-Files, supported the idea. The government and military have threatened to take harsh measures in case of an attack and are rumored to have pulled up additional forces for protection. Did the followers of this movement succeed in declassifying the closed base? As a result, 2 themed festivals were organized near the area, Alien Stock and Storm, Area 51 Base Camp. There came about 3,000 people, but on the Storm to the gates of the base came no more than 70, and those soon dispersed. After that, 45th US President Donald Trump, who had previously flatly refused to believe in aliens, promised to declassify data on the probable fall of UFOs in 1947 year. It is about the owner of a ranch in New Mexico who found the wreckage of an unknown apparatus. However, representatives of the US Air Force then said that it was a weather balloon used in the framework of a secret project. Do you think we'll find out someday what it really was? Also, at the end of his term, the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump, ordered national intelligence to produce the very same report on unidentified aerial phenomena. Around the same time, the Pentagon released videos taken by the US Navy in 2004 and 2015, They show unusual ball-shaped and glowing flying objects. The pilots who filmed them said that the objects did not resemble any apparatus known to them. In particular, they stayed in the air for about 12 hours at a fairly high speed. This requires a lot more fuel and energy than military flying craft have. The videos hit the net back in 2007 and 2017 years, but only in 2020 year, the Ministry of Defense confirmed their authenticity. All this caused a new wave of rumors that the US authorities are hiding something with the assistance of the military and intelligence services. Later, the Pentagon confirmed 8 more such cases. And in January 2021, CIA declassified some of the materials related to the study of UFOs. However, is it only the US intelligence is concerned about unidentified flying objects? But not only the US authorities stopped guffawing on the topic of UFOs. For example, Bill Nelson, head of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration of NASA, also is interested in continuing to work on the study of unidentified flying objects. Nelson notes that none of the top space industry officials know exactly what the objects observed by US Navy pilots are. We don't know if they're aliens. We don't know if they're enemies. We don't think it's an optical phenomenon because of the descriptions that the Navy pilots have provided. But we want to know. Perhaps NASA should also involve the US military in the investigation. Very interesting times we live in. Well, now we know a little more about UFOs. But has the US National Intelligence Report brought more clarity to seemingly impossible phenomena? Have all the questions been answered?